All right, so I want to talk a little more about Dick Allgire's or Allgire's how you actually pronounce it, not Al, it's Allgire. His session and his other guy's session, same target, Daz's uh, viewing of it, and their setup was basically the month of April, and they both agreed. Well, sometimes it can be 90 days, not just a 30 days out kind of a thing. But yes, in fact, technically we could have had an issue with the crypto markets and whatnot on that date, March 30th, which now is 2 days ago. Maybe that was the bottom, but maybe not. But as I looked at um, Dick's reporting or his session, um, some interesting things stood out to me that at first said, what the heck does this have to do with cryptos? This seems like some kind of major disaster that's about to happen. And I want you to understand something. The Orlando Pulse shooting thing, whatever, he got that about 30 days in advance. They were doing something similar to what they're doing now, which is we want to find every month the most newsworthy item and try to remote view it in advance. And the Orlando Pulse thing was one thing they nailed. And when you look at Dick's drawings, which is on his YouTube channel, of that particular thing, it's unbelievable how insanely accurate it was. It was like on fire accurate. So just keep that in mind. So they have a similar thing with cryptos. Hey, what's the most newsworthy item that's coming up that's going to affect the price of cryptos? And there were two things. Now, before I get started, I want to repeat one other thing. They also remote viewed a very simple. It was a very simple session from, and the parameters were something like from March. I don't know the exact. I have to look in the email, but it was like March. Hang on one sec. Okay, it was the parameters were if it is a perfect time to buy cryptocurrencies and tokens in the week from March 30th this year, 2018, to April 6, 2018, the remote viewer clearly identifies a stadium where AC/DC performs in front of thousands of fans. If it is a bad time to purchase cryptocurrencies and tokens in the week, same time frame, the remote viewer clearly identifies the St. Louis Gateway Arch. So, based off of what I saw from Dick's drawing, which they sent me, I don't know if they want to be shown. Oh, actually, I did. We already did show it. I think I can just pull it up like this. Hang on, just so that you can follow me. Again, I talked about this already, but almost looks like here's a little stage area, some equipment, the smoke over here, some smoke over there. It's noisy, machine sounds, loud. There's smoke at this. This is the picture they used as part of the session. They said basically, if it's a good time to buy ACD concert, and this is the picture they also attached to the session, saying, like basically if you could draw this would be great. So you can actually see the smoke and stuff out here. You can see the smoke and the concert on both sides over here. When I look at this, yes, it's on land, sounds, chugging sounds. And I'm thinking, when I think of chugging a train, right, train. Well, how about AC/DC jamming? Could be that. I'm just going to throw that out there myself. That's all I'm saying. But on that picture, does that picture look like the arch, the St. Louis Arch, or more of a loud sound, rock concert? So, and then you look at these little things up front. It almost looks like little lighting and stuff up here. I'm not sure how. Yeah, you should be able to zoom in on that. It's like the little stage lighting. I mean, doesn't it? Look at this. So, I just want to share that for a second because it came back as basically from this week. It's a good time to buy, which extends all the way out to the 6th of April, right? Yeah, April 6th. Of course, in all fairness, if we had a huge sell-off over the next few days, like bloodbath, it would still be accurate because it's still a good time to buy between these dates. You follow me? You know, if, we really, you know, hold the feet to the fire of this remote viewing stuff. We gave ourselves a week. So the 30th could be a good day. The 1st could be a good day. The 2nd could be a day. But what if the 4th is an epic day to buy because of a big sell-off? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just throwing that out there so you understand. And sometimes timing's an issue with the remote viewing too, you know. But sometimes it kind of reminds me of WebBot, man. Sometimes it is just absolutely on point. So anyway, so not related to this, they had another remote viewing session, and that one was kind of like the one I just told you about, where they're trying to find a newsworthy item to talk about in advance and see if they can kind of get what's going to be coming. Well, it was the same parameters except cryptocurrency related news. Like, is some big event or some big thing going to affect the cryptocurrency markets? We want to see any kind of event happening every month out, so to speak. And both Daz and Dick Allgire did this, and then they had a little chat amongst each other, which they uploaded privately to YouTube on an unlisted video. I've seen it. It's about 20 minutes long. I can't share it with everybody. They already told me. But what I saw in there was very interesting because it looked like a mass casualty event had happened. It affected every market, not just cryptos, bonds, stocks, like everything. And one of the things that Dick saw was the word bonds. Some kind of event would really affect bonds or something. And he wrote that down. But then he has a scene that he drew. Looks like a city area. And I'm thinking instantly in my mind, New York City. People on the ground, bodies on the ground, people hanging, flinging things out windows like little flags, like, hey, up here, you know, up here, help us, that kind of thing. And I find this very interesting, you know, timing, coincidence, all that. That if you guys haven't already seen, I think I might have mentioned this once before, you need to watch it again. If you haven't, or you don't need to watch it again necessarily, but you need to see it. The Jonathan Kleck. And it is a particular video he has. I remember doing a YouTube video with him a long time ago about something that, again, was like, oh, just a coincidence. And I'm like, not a chance in hell. I got to get this guy on. And he came on and we chatted for a while about something that he was doing that I saw. And I was like, oh my God, that ties into this. And it was a one-time thing, and that was it. I don't even remember what it was. I tried to find, like, even search for his name in my videos, or I couldn't find anything. So I don't even remember what it was. It may have had something to do with the $50 bill, you know, you fold it and it shows the dam bursting or whatever. I don't even remember now. But I'm going to find this video real quick. This one. Alright, so let me just show you what it looks like. Okay. It's this one. Wake up, time to die. And then he does the second one. Doodle, destruction of New York. Statue of Liberty. You flip this stuff up. Everything is upside down. He always talks about, like, the Bible says, you know, flips things upside down, you'll see the pictures. You'll see what was meant to be shown. And I'm just going to tell you, if this is not a heads up right here, just some things that does resonate with me. And here's the other one. The wicked one is at work. This is the upside down Google Doodle. And it looks like a shark going through the One World Trade Tower to get to the sheep. And behind that's Donald Trump's building. But if you flip it upside down, you don't see a shark. All you see is like a bay and some clouds and stuff. He goes through this stuff. This guy is unbelievable. And I actually believe he's absolutely onto something. Like, I really believe this. You know, he was the one that showed, you know, the snake, the serpent inside the Vatican, the mouth. And, you know, I mean, that's clear as day. The eyes in the opening. If you look at that, like, insane stuff. So I just find it interesting that and maybe someone had sent this to me and that's what got me looking at it again. But I watched both of these in full. He makes a lot of sense. He talks about how he thinks this lady right here in this video, forget her name, he goes over her name. She was born early 1900s. She has something to do with radioactivity and nuclear fallout and stuff. And if you zoom in on her face, from her chin up to her forehead. It's actually a nuclear cloud, the mushroom cloud. Like whoever drew this picture highlighted that area. You just got to look at it and say, oh, wow, yeah, it does look like that. He shows it to you. He draws on it so you can actually see it even better. He feels New York City's going to get hit. What I just saw Dick Allgire draw with that last session about what's going to affect the cryptocurrency market, like a newsworthy event coming soon. And he draws this carnage. People dead all over the floor in a city environment. People hanging out of buildings. Buildings destroyed. And he said this could just simply be symbology. He said, I don't want to scare anybody, ultimately. But it could be symbology of, blood on the streets. The old saying, blood on the streets. Market, perfect time to buy. The Rothschilds, they always go in when there's blood on the streets. And maybe it was just symbology for, hey, there's blood on the streets coming. I'm not so sure, but this is me talking, and it's only my opinion. I don't know that that's just what... We may literally be getting ready to see what he just drew. Like, not symbology, like, oh my gosh, some major event. And Jonathan Kleck seems to think they're going to set a nuke off, or something like that, off the shore somewhere. New York City. Tidal wave's coming. Boom. Causes some destruction. He goes over, again, listen to this video before you knock this. You're not going to be able to sit through it and say, oh, that was a coincidence. Well, that's just a coincidence. Well, wait a minute, how many coincidences have I counted? You're not going to be able to do that. And again, all these people I'm meeting and all these things that are happening to me right now and these connections, I'm just like, man, I just got to look at this a little bit differently. So I'm wondering, is a major event, keeping in mind April 19th, 20th, are key dates in the past history of this country where major, we'll just go ahead and call them the official story, terror events have happened. Oklahoma City, you name it. April 19th, 20th, it's like some occult, satanic day. Go look it up. 20th mainly, April 20th. So I'm just curious. And sure, boy, it'd be a hell of a coincidence if some major event happened that caused a tidal wave on or about April 20th and hits New York City. And it dawned on me last night when I was thinking about this, because I thought I'm coming out here today, I'm going to do a video about this. And it dawned on me that wasn't it the Fed? Remember, didn't the Fed have its main office in New York or something, and they decided to move, or one of those? What? Remember that? And we're all like, oh, why are you guys getting out of New York City all of a sudden? You've been there forever. Remember that? It was like a couple years ago. New York Fed moving to Chicago. Moving to Chicago. Yeah, April 14th, 2015, exclusive. Wary of natural disaster, New York Fed bulks up in Chicago. The New York branch of the U.S. Federal Reserve worry that a natural disaster or other eventuality could shut down its market operations as it approaches an interest rate hike. This is 2015, April 14th, speaking of April. Has added staff and bulked up its satellite office in Chicago. And then there's another article from September 2015. Federal Reserve beefs up Chicago branch just in case New York gets, And this is from IntelliHub, that when they posted this. This is from IntelliHub.com. Just in case, right? So it says, what do the powers that be know? Chicago, IntelliHub. It makes me wonder what people in the know, the elites, are expecting to happen in the near future, as the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank already announced that it is moving a good chunk of its operations out of New York to Chicago in hopes to avoid a random, of course, I'm sure it'll be random, natural disaster like Hurricane Sandy, which hit Manhattan hard in October 2012. In fact, for the last several years, the Chicago Fed has been working hard, beefing up their systems, infrastructure, and staff to be able to handle what the New York Fed does on a daily basis, just in case. I'll stop there. Coincidence. Jonathan Kleck's thing. Coincidence. Dick Allgire's drawing. Coincidence. I feel like I want to at least show you that. I feel, and I hope they don't get upset at me, I feel like I need to show you at least that image. Give me a second. So one of the things they picked up on was the word like lawsuit and or indictment. He has the word bonds, serious problem. This is Dick's stuff that he was writing. Hang on. Okay, so I'm just gonna I took a single screenshot of this one particular thing he drew. This is a hair blurry because I made it bigger, but cool down. City street littered with bodies and debris, very bad death. Buildings, problems, people all over the streets. Wide city street, tall buildings, bodies, debris, messy. Okay, this is what Dick drew. This was also related to markets getting slammed, and basically what they came up with was, this is not a crypto only thing. This is a something that happens. It affects all markets, not good, sort of a thing. So when I hear that and see what he wrote, and first of all, is it April? Is it this year? Is it way later? They can be off, but they usually say, they feel comfortable that should be within 90 days when they do something like this, although their target's 30 days. Dick was saying, and there's other pictures that go with this that I haven't shown you, and I'm not going to because we're really clear about, we're not releasing this yet. But something inside me is saying I just have to show that one image, so I'm going to do it. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm just looking at all these things adding up right now. And I'm trying to prepare you that just in case, the remote viewing stuff, whatever, some event happens, think about New York City. If it's New York City, Jonathan Kleck seems absolutely certain it's New York City. And you probably recognize other people who have seen visions and things like that about New York City, water flooding, the day after tomorrow, the movies, all that stuff. New York City, hint, hint. Chicago, or Fed moving out to Chicago, beefing up that office to basically leave New York Fed, with the skeleton crew. Don't even need them anymore. Come on. Well, they did that in 2015. It was a long time ago. They would have never seen this coming. Right. Now, if they moved out the month before something happened, then, of course, we'd all be raising hell. How did you know that? Well, we didn't. It was a coincidence. We moved out a month early. But if we moved out 3 or 4 years earlier, well, you can't make it look like we knew. So, just as a side thing here, be prepared just in case some event happens that affects all markets, including cryptos, and we may see a bloodbath, which we haven't even seen yet, including March 30th. Oh my gosh, we're down to 52 billion market cap. We haven't seen that since November. That was the bloodbath. Kind of recovered now. Not really, but a little bit. Speaking of which, coin market cap. Not exactly. Nope. Back down on the red. Here we go. Check this out. It's even lower. It is even lower. $243 billion market cap, which is now the lowest it's been since November, beating out the 30th. Look at these prices. $110 Litecoin, $6,500 Bitcoin, $364 Ethereum. All your favorite coins, monkey hammered, right? All of our favorite coins, absolutely monkey hammered right now. Tron even 20% down, right? April 1st, April Fool's Day. So we have a down market, but we also have them remote viewing just days ago. Is this week a good time to buy cryptos? And the answer was simply yes. This week is a good time. Let's not forget, whatever the hell happens or doesn't happen, wherever these things end, down low or whatever, wherever that stops. 4 confirmations. Just think of how impossible this is. 4 separate human beings given a 8-digit number, XY572976, something like that. I just made it up, just FYI. And that's all they get. All right, remote view that target. And all 4 separate humans, not near each other, okay? Not even knowing each other's working on the same thing, have a result that says battleship related. And battleship related means $3,000 at least Litecoin prices at the end of this year, day before Christmas. That was the target. Again, timing slightly, whatever. I'm just going to say, what are the chances of 4 human beings drawing something related to a battleship, pretty detailed? And I also this morning watched and read what Bix Weir had done. They worked the target for him. They didn't know it was his target either, of course, because they are giving these things blind. And let's just say I think we all know what Bix was wanting to know about. But I got to hear and watch and read and see exactly how the sessions went. And after I sit here and listen and watch what they wrote, I tell myself, there's not a chance in hell they just described what they just described and got it lucky again. Okay? So I want you to know the title of Dick's, the screenshot I just shared with you about the carnage, it's titled Bloodbath, Top 3 Events in Crypto for April. However, I think Daz only focused on the first event because it was so massive. So I'm not sure what you should do. Should you sell some right now? Is it going to go lower? 20%, 50% of your holdings? Where's it going to end? I don't have the answer. But the way I'm looking at this is, at the end of the year, again, if all the and as I'm looking at what they just did for Bix Weir, mind blown again. They can't possibly be wrong, is what I'm telling myself. They can't possibly be wrong. But I want you to think, if something happens, New York City shut down, some major event, New York City, the hub of finances, right? Market crash is going to happen. It'll be unbelievable. Of course, you would expect cryptos to go. All markets would be affected. And I'm thinking, what kind of prices would we see? How bad of crypto prices would we see if an event like that were to happen, where New York City's nailed? I think how low it would go would be sickening to your stomach. Puking. Which is funny because that's in the Webbot language too. That kind of language. Puking. Not in April all of a sudden, but like later on when we have these big ups and downs, he said. So I can't give you advice. Don't ask me for advice. Joe, what are you going to do? I don't even know what I'm going to do. I may just hodl and ride it out. I may sell a little bit and say just in case. Because if I sell too much and then it recovers, then you lose, right? But if you sell a little bit and it goes way the hell down, like sick down, even 10% you scraped off becomes a lot of buying power when there's blood, real blood on the streets in the market. 10% of, let's just say $7,000 Bitcoin, you take 10% of that off. Next thing you know, the damn thing's down to $3,000. You take that 10% you got off there and buy some back, kind of a thing. Can make sense. But I don't know what to make of this. They were like thinking, should we even release this to everybody? Like this doesn't look good and again, bonds and stocks, all this stuff. And he had a picture of a guy in a boardroom. How could this happen? Another scene was like, I don't know if it was a massive multi-hundreds of millions of dollars heist that happened, whether it was in the banking system. They weren't sure. Was it a crypto exchange? That never even came up. That was just my mind thinking about it. Was it a crypto exchange? Was it something else? Guys screaming at people, how could this happen? How could they do this? How did they pull this off? That kind of thing was what he was drawing. But that could be related to other industries, not just crypto. The thing here was that it would affect crypto. And it would affect other markets too. So as I sit here, again, I'm doing this video right now, and the second I'm done talking, I'm going to upload it. Easter Sunday. Welcome to your crypto bloodbath, But I just don't know how low this is going to go. I just don't have the answer. But like I said, if you look at the Wall Street cheat sheet, And maybe we'll pull that up real quick. It's on this one. Wall Street cheat sheet. Here we go. Let me take a peek at this chart, because again, I'm just gonna use Bitcoin because the whole market looks the same. And make that a little smaller, move it up, and then I'll share my screen in a second. Here we go. So again, the market cycle, it looks like a spitting image. I mean, look at this thing. I've stretched it a bit, but whatever. You know, this is back here in December. Now we're down here in February, about 6,000, 5,900. We felt like that was maybe around here somewhere. So what we may not know, right? I mean, what if where my mouse is right here, that was this right here, 5,900. Okay, 6,000, call it 6,000. A little bit down more is coming. And maybe that's what this is about to develop into, and it goes down to here. We have a nice little pop. Okay, we're back to 8,000, whatever. Then we get down to here, this little red level, where it goes lower than both of these, which could mean $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 Bitcoin. Which would also mean, in my opinion, I'm just going to throw some numbers, $60, $70, $80, $90 Litecoin. Just going to say, I don't know. So, having said that, we're going to have to wait and see where this last one ends. And again, it doesn't have to follow the cycle perfectly. Matter of fact, that's kind of the one-off where it follows it absolutely perfectly. But man, is this thing like right on, pretty much on the money. So I just have a lot of information for you, but I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about it either. Do I sell 20% off my stuff? Do I sell 10? Do I not? Do I just hodl and say, oh, well, it'll come back? Hell, we're focused on the end of the year anyways, aren't we? We're all excited about December and the remote viewing and at least $3,000, all that stuff. Like, are we all going to be that upset, Not if that kind of thing happens. So again, the question is going to be, like I said in my last video, in my opinion, guys listening, when I was talking to Dick, guys, if you're listening, hold some cash on the side right now, if anything. Don't pull the trigger yet. Sit on it for a minute. Because if what Dick thinks he got here, that little amount of cash per se that you have might amount to a hell of a lot of purchasing power in cryptos if we see death and destruction on the markets here in the near future before then it goes back, right? I don't know that we've actually experienced blood on the streets yet. Like when the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and these guys get in. Let's not forget, Circle, they're buying this company, Goldman Sachs bought Circle. Circle's they did buy Polynix. And on Polynix, they're going to be the first fully compliant market ready for big institutional money to come in. So how you play this is up to you. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'll be honest, I don't think I'm even going to come out here and tell you until a little while later. Like once I've already done what I've done. Oh yeah, I sold some and bought back in. Or I hodled. Yeah, I just hodled. Because my decision might not be your decision. And I don't want to tell you a decision that I make. And then, it's $110 Litecoin. Let me sell off, 20% of my freaking Litecoin right now. And then it goes up. Oh, that was the bottom. 119, 119, 120. Uh-oh. Now if I buy in, I'm getting less Litecoin back than I had. But the other side is, if it's 110 right now, and it goes down to 80 or 90, and I did sell off 20% or whatever the hell it is, ooh, now I get to go back buy some more and get even more back than I sold. So, decisions. That's where we're at right now. And I'm not going to help you make yours. I can't. And as you can see, I'm not in a hurry to, let me get on the market. Let me get on Bittrex and this one. I'm not. I'm going to think about it for a little bit today. I don't know what I'm going to do. Again, I feel like we know where this is going in the future. So if we know where it's going, and even Dick's like, I bought more. I just sent a check off to buy a whole bunch more. He's not in the mindset of right now, next week, how bad. He's in the mindset of what's my nest egg going to look like in a few years. That's all he's looking at, just even 2-3 years. What's it going to be? But the other side is things like this are kind of like, almost once in a lifetime kind of thing where just, bad sell-off happens. You want to capitalize on it, And we all just don't have that crystal ball, but we've got these remote viewers telling us, and what they just drew was, to me, screaming, we got a big sell-off coming across the planet on everything. Everything. But is their timing right? Is it April? Is it really April? Is it, it's something for you to chew on and think about. Only you can stop forest fires. Only you can decide what you're going to or not going to do. My buddy Brian at work, he's like, man, a $90, $100 Litecoin, and it started to go back up yesterday. Oh, maybe you missed it. One of our other guys, Richard, was telling him. Now it's back down. Matter of fact, it's down to 110. Brian may be about to get his Litecoin at a price he wants. JSNIP4, Populous. The hell's Populous at right now? I want my $9 Populous. Take a look at this. $11.28. $11.28. Again, same story. Market cycle, big pop, sell off. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. But look how quickly it happened. This was just January, and for Populous, it was January 28th. Gosh, that wasn't even long ago at all, but look at it. November, December, January, February, March, April, here we are. We are looking like a complete market cycle is about to, be completed. Start anew. But there's always the one-offs. If some massive event happens, New York City's shut down, do you have any idea what would happen to the markets? All markets, it's true. That's the kind of thing that says, oh, this little market cycle was supposed to do this and then start over. But, it did this, came down. All right, get ready for the market cycle to start again. And then, oh my God, whoa, $30 Litecoin, $1,500 Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm just going to throw crazy, scary numbers out there just for the time being. And then, whoosh. Then it goes. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, sold off. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, held. Which way is it going to go? Maybe Dick's right. It's just metaphorical. It was just a symbol for there's blood on the streets coming. April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever. Okay, we're done. It did touch 6,000 again, or maybe went a little lower. Now it's going back up. And it was just a symbology of, blood on the streets. That was why he drew that. Because remote viewing can do that too, apparently. Where they interpret it, but it has a different meaning. Same thing, but it has a different meaning. So, anyways, I'm going to upload this video now. And I don't know if I'm going to do anything. I might just sit here and I may hodl through this. I've got some cash on the side. I do have some. And I may have to pull the trigger. So I think a safe, if you said, Joe, what's the safest thing? I will tell you that. What's the safest thing? Safest thing might be to hodl. And then as long as you have cash on the side, where you're thinking, I was just about to get back in the market. If that's the case, hold off. See how low this baby goes, then jump in. If you're at the point where, Joe, I don't have any cash, but I do have a nice amount of cryptos, and I might like to try to capitalize on this, I might tell you, then go ahead and sell off 10% or something. It's up to you, of course. And then that's your cash now. And yes, you may have to go sell it off. You want to put it in US, Tether or whatever, USDT, and sit on it. That's one thing. Or you could go to Coinbase or Gemini and sell your Bitcoin or Litecoin, whatever, Ethereum. Although you can't do Litecoin on Gemini, you can do it on Coinbase and actually take the money in your account, let it sit there. And then as soon as you feel like, okay, the market's dipped at the bottom, let me get back in, and then do your buy orders. I kind of like the idea of USDT, USDT Tether, even though it's a little scary, because at least when you make that trade, they're not going to say, oh, we don't have any Bitcoin, or you can only buy this much Litecoin, like freaking Coinbase has done from time to time. You're ready to pounce and you can't. Sorry, you can only buy, $200 worth of Litecoin. What? I want $20,000 right now. No, $200. I don't want to deal with that. So maybe Tether might be the best option, to be honest with you. So, decisions, my friends. Just threw a couple at you of possibilities. I just don't have my mind made up. So, anyways, I leave you with that. Have a happy Easter and take care.